Hi folks, welcome back for the last instalment of today's brewing session. So we're going to set up for fermentation now. So fermentation is stage 3. We're going to put it all together and get our wort starting to ferment so that the yeast can turn it into beer. After this you're going to have to leave it for 2 weeks, but I'll some more about that at the end. So our wort is now chilled down to about 20 or 25 degrees. Ideally, if we can get it down to 20 in that ice bath, that would be perfect. Though I know we'll struggle sometimes, but it's important to manage the temperature of wort when you're brewing beer. That's why I've recommended that potentially you use a quake yeast, which can tolerate temperatures up to about 30 or 35 degrees without having any significant issues. So this bottle that I've been keeping completely sanitized, I'm now going to take the lid off and put it to one side, and I'm going to place the funnel into the top of the bottle. Okay. I'm going to take the lid off of our pot. Now, what's going to have happened is the heavy matter, or the trub, spelt trub, T-R-U-B, is going to have settled to the bottom. So we want to try not to disturb that, and we want to pour as much of the clear liquid, or clearish liquid, off of the top into our fermentation vessel, which is what we're using this for today. We want to put 4 litres into this 5 litre container. We need to leave enough space for the yeast to ferment and expand and do its thing, because it's going to create a foam called the krausen on top of the wort while it's fermenting. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this carefully in now, trying just to take the liquid off the top. So try not to shake and disturb the pot while you're doing this. Okay, so I now have about 4 litres of the wort in this 5 litre container. So that's leaving a 25% headspace for this to expand while it's fermenting. The splashing has also made this all foam up, which is a good thing. That's not going to hurt things at all. So we sanitised our yeast packet and our scissors as well before we started. And so we're going to just snip the very top bit off of this, and the vacuum seal will get broken. I didn't cut enough off. There we go. So this is enough yeast to do 20 litres of beer. We have 5 litres here, so we need a quarter of a packet. I would err on the other side and take it up to a third of a packet, or even a half. Once you open it, you need to use this yeast within a couple of days, and you need to keep it sealed and sanitary during that time. So unless you're going to brew lots of brews in the space of a few days, using a little bit extra is not going to hurt. So I put that in there. Now I'm going to seal my yeast up the way I do it. So I fold it over once, I fold it over a second time. I put a bulldog clip on it to keep it folded closed carefully, and I place it in an airtight container that I'm going to store in the fridge. Let's put our lid firmly back on the bottle, and now what we want to do is we want to shake this. So we're doing a couple of things here. First, we're dispersing the yeast evenly throughout the bottle, and the second thing is we're adding a lot of air into the wort. So one of the first phases yeast goes through while it's fermenting is replication, and that's the stage where this little packet has about 200 billion yeast cells in it, so we put about 50 billion yeast cells in here. The yeast first needs to recreate, and it'll make itself up to maybe another 400 billion cells in here. But to do that, it needs oxygen, and so that oxygen needs to be dissolved in the water where the yeast is. So you can see we've got that good and well dissolved. So what we're going to do now, we want to ferment this in a cool, dark place for the next 2 weeks. So I put mine in a cupboard in the laundry. It's tucked away, the temperature doesn't fluctuate much, and it stays dark. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to place it in a plastic dish or something, so if it does ferment violently, the stuff that spills out doesn't make a mess in the cupboard, it just gets caught in the dish. And after I put it in the cupboard, I'm going to loosen the lid slightly. Okay, so there has to be the ability for carbon dioxide, because as yeast ferments sugars to make alcohol, it releases carbon dioxide. So that carbon dioxide needs to be able to get out. So by having the lid sitting loosely on there, no bacteria can fall into the bottle, but the carbon dioxide can push its way out and you won't get an exploding mess in your cupboard. that's all for this session. If you've got any questions, the email links and stuff are at the bottom of the clip, so please send them in. We'll be more than happy to help. As I say, this is one of the simplest, easiest brews. There's lots of different things that you could do, lots of little tweaks and bits and pieces, but for this, as your first brew, I just wanted to make it as simple as possible. So come back for the packaging step in 2 weeks' time. Thanks very much. Bye.